Today on Legally Us, Diana Jenkins granted a subpoena that would require Meta Instagram to provide information in her bot lawsuit. Kim Kardashian and Scott Disick are sued for $40 million in an alleged Instagram scam. And Adam Levine is accused of cheating. But can he or the women involved take legal action? And we got the latest in the PnB murder investigation. We've got that plus so much more in today's Legally Us. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Legally Us. I'm Christina, and of course, joined each and every week by Nima Rahmani, a former federal prosecutor and president of West Coast Trial Lawyers. Hi, Nima. How are you?
Hi, Christina. How's it going?
Good, good. Well, we got a lot to get to today, and I want to kick it off by talking about something that we discussed last week, but there has been some movement in Diana Jenkins versus the bots. So she has been granted a subpoena that would require Meta, who is the owner of Instagram, to provide all information in its possession that could identify those persons who sent hateful and, in some instances, threatening social media messages to Garcelle's son, Jax, who's only 14 years old. So what exactly does it mean to get the subpoena, and what is the next step?
Yeah, so this is exactly what we expected when we talked last week. You know, Diana was going to file her lawsuit, but against a Jane Doe, John Doe. So this is her way of getting information from Meta, because we know Facebook and Instagram, they don't provide information voluntarily. You got to get a subpoena. And the only way you can get a subpoena is to file a lawsuit.
Okay. So then, like we said before, this could still take a bit of time for Meta, Instagram to kind of go through all this and figure out, who's at fault.
Exactly. So now that the lawsuit has been filed, Diana's lawyers can issue that subpoena. It's going to go to Meta's lawyers, and Meta's lawyers are going to turn over information about the bots or the trolls. Could be subscriber information, could be IP information. So this is a fishing expedition for Diana to find out who's posting those comments and messages on social media.
Yeah. I mean, if the bots, this is just, hypothetically speaking, if the bots ever traced back to someone behind the scenes of Housewives or somebody affiliated with them, what other legal actions can take place?
Then Diana could potentially take direct action against the people who are actually posting the comments. It could be anything. It could be AI generated in another country. It could be a real person here in the United States. We don't know. But once Diana and her lawyers know, they may be able to take action if it's actually a real person here in the States.
Interesting. All right, let's move on to Kim Kardashian and Scott Disick, because they are being sued for $40 million for promoting Lux prizes on Instagram that are allegedly part of a fake lottery scam. I'm sure a lot of people, if they follow Scott, they see these Instagram photos every now and then. So people who entered these contests were allegedly promised a chance at winning some over-the-top prizes like first-class tickets to LA, a 3-night stay in Beverly Hills, even $100,000, and Louis Vuitton, everything, all these Lux things. So a source close to the company that organizes the lotteries, which is Curated Businesses, told TMZ that there have been legitimate winners and that they have the paperwork to prove it. However, the plaintiffs who allegedly won these contests claim in the lawsuit that Kim and Scott and Curated Businesses organized the contests to allegedly sell their personal information to advertisers. And so the legal documents say that they have been invaded by hundreds of advertisers, some of which are soliciting the plaintiffs with potentially offensive and unwanted content. So like I said, they are seeking $20 million from each defendant. So who is more at fault in this? Is this the Curated Business, or is it Scott and Kim, the promoters?
Probably both, Christina, but let's peel this back a little bit and talk about it. Believe it or not, there's federal and state law that governs these giveaways, and there's different types. We talked about a lottery. That doesn't apply, because a lottery, you actually got to pay to buy a ticket to give yourself a chance of winning. A contest is also a little bit different, because in a contest, there's a judge that decides a winner. This is actually a sweepstakes, and that's probably a term that some of the younger viewers haven't heard, but it was big in the 80s and 90s. And in a sweepstakes, you don't have to pay anything to participate, but the contestants have to be chosen at random. And if they weren't, that's a big problem. That's where you get those violations of law, and both Kim, Scott, and the company can be held liable.
Interesting. So Scott has done several of these with a bunch of different members of the Kardashian family, but why target Kim directly, or unless it was, I guess, that one post that a lot of people kind of came together to go after them for?
Well, we've seen this before with Blac, Chyna, and others. You want to go after Kim K because she's the biggest name and the deepest pocket. she has the most money. So you always want to include all the defendants in the case, because if you get a judgment, you can collect from any or all of them potentially. So you want to make sure that once you win, you're also able to collect on it.
Definitely. So do these people that, won this contest, do they have a good chance at winning, and will Kim and Scott have to pay up?
I think the winners probably aren't going to have any damages if they actually won legitimately, randomly, not fraudulently. It's the people that didn't win, because let's be honest, there's a reason Scott and Kim and these companies are doing this. They're trying to get information so they can market to the people who are participating in these giveaways. That's super valuable to advertisers. So they get the information, they sell that information, because then companies can start marketing to people.
Definitely. So is it possible that contestants kind of waived rights to their data being used, much like when, kind of when you join certain apps and things like that for the first time? So did they maybe unknowingly give up information?
So that's certainly a possibility, but the participants would say, I agreed to provide my information, my identifying information, username, address, phone number, whatever, in exchange for a random chance of winning, because you didn't fulfill your end of the bargain, Scott Kim company, because this sweepstakes wasn't random. You perpetuated a fraud. So I gave something, but didn't get something in return. And that something is a random chance of winning. So they'll say that what they agreed to wasn't actually what the companies provided.
Right. So how is this curated business? How would they go about proving that the winners, that they actually won and that these people were selected by random?
So now that they've been sued, they're going to have to show that the winners were actually chosen at random, whether through some software, picking a name out of a hat, whatever. I mean, and ultimately the plaintiffs, the people who are suing, are going to say, no. These are people who are associated with the company. That's why if you hear these types of sweepstakes on radios, they'll say that, no one who is an employee or a family member of the station can participate, because they don't want any perception that the giveaway is not legitimate.
Right. So it's like you got to knock on a neighbor's door to pick a name out of a hat, pretty much. And that's how you go about it. So, I mean, should people be aware of what they're doing and what they're kind of getting involved in when you participate in these social media contests, sweepstakes, lotteries, things like that?
Absolutely. You got to be very careful on social media. And we're going to be talking about that later in the show. But, when you're giving up your information, just know that it will be used. It will be resold. So always read the fine print and just know that nothing comes for free.
Yes. All right. Well, like you said, it's been a messy situation for Adam Levine on social media this week. So several women have come forward accusing Adam of cheating or sending flirty messages to them via Instagram. So he, like I said, accused of sending these flirty messages. And one woman came forward in a since deleted TikTok saying that Adam allegedly wrote to her, "I shouldn't be talking to you. You know that, right?" Of course, Adam is married to Bahati Prinsloo. She's expecting their third child right now. So the woman claimed that she had a lot more evidence to support her allegations, but opted not to share them because they were not appropriate and she wasn't comfortable posting everything. So this came after another woman came forward saying that they had a year-long affair, that he wanted to name his unborn baby after her if he was a boy. So messy on so many different levels. But so reportedly one of these women that came forward decided to lawyer up. So why would she do that?
Yeah, she's lawyering up because there's always the potential that you get sued. So she wants to protect herself, make sure she doesn't say anything that may be potentially defamatory, because obviously Adam Levine has a lot to lose here, both in terms of his marriage and his public perception. So whoever comes out and makes statements, they better be truthful and they better be careful.
Yeah. So can Adam take legal action? Because it seems like these women are coming with receipts. They have these text messages, they have the Instagram conversations that they had. So can he take legal action against these women?
Probably not, because for him to do so, there has to be a reasonable expectation of privacy. That's the legal standard. And when you text message someone, you DM someone, it's out there. There's no expectation that people aren't going to take a screenshot and share it with their friends or their followers on social media. So Adam is probably out of luck when it comes to going after these women.
Sorry, Adam. So this woman, Sumner, she kind of got the ball rolling when she said that they had this year-long affair. And she said she was almost kind of blackmailed into coming forward, or was forced into coming forward because one of her friends was going to sell this screenshot of a conversation with Adam to the press. So does she have any legal rights to go after a friend for leaking this conversation?
Not really, Christian, because once you screenshot that message and you send it to your friends, it's out there. You lose your expectation of privacy. Now, it would be different if the friend hacked into her phone, took a picture of the messages without her knowledge. But once you send it out, it is out and you can't claw it back or get it back. So there's no really claim by her against her friend.
Yeah, it seems like Adam Levine is in a big old pile of mess right now.
Oh, no question.
No question about it. All right. So let's move on to, this is a really sad story. So the gunman who killed PnB Rock at the Roscoe's House of Chicken and Waffles restaurant in South Los Angeles recently. So this happened after the rapper was tagged at being in the restaurant online by his girlfriend, who posted a location tagged photo. So police are under the impression that now that this might have been not just a random robbery, it may have been a planned execution, but cops also don't believe his girlfriend was involved in his death. So it's just a really sad situation. So she posted a photo of their location shortly after he was robbed and then gunned down. So a lot of people have been coming after his girlfriend on social media, blaming her for this, for his death. Can she ever sue anybody for emotional distress? And so many people are coming after her.
Probably not, Christina. And you're right. Such an incredibly sad case. This just happened a few miles from where I'm sitting here in downtown LA. But ultimately, emotional distress, that's a type of damage, right? Like pain and suffering, medical expenses, lost earning. For you to collect damages, there has to be a claim, whether it's fraud or defamation or negligence. And ultimately, the girlfriend doesn't have a claim against these people on social media that are blaming her for PnB Rock's death.
It's just really sad. So what does it mean now that this investigation is crossing outside of California, and how significant is the development that this might not have been just a random robbery?
It might not have been. And obviously, we encourage everyone, be careful what you post on social media. People like to flex on the gram by posting jewelry or money, but just know that may make you a target, especially in a city like LA. That's why when I go out, the only jewelry I wear is my wedding ring, because it's more dangerous for me not to wear it. My wife may come after me. So I encourage everyone to be safe on social media, but we don't know yet. I mean, LAPD is investigating the case in connection with the district attorney's office. It seemed like it was a robbery based on some of the witness statements and the interview there from Moscow's, but you never know. It may have been a hit. And we've seen it before with other rappers.
Right. I mean, and you make a really good point about the geotagging, because I mean, we saw it with Kim Kardashian when she was posting all of her high-end jewelry, and then when she got robbed when she was in France. But, you see it all the time, and you have all these extravagant things, but a lot of people are paying attention and want to come after it.
Exactly. So my advice is, if you want to post something nice on social media, post it after you leave. Mm-hmm. Make sure people don't know where you are. Don't post when you're on vacation, when you have nice things at home. Be careful, especially if you're a public figure. Everyone's watching and someone may have wrong intentions.
Definitely. Well, Nima, thank you so much for running down all things legal with me. As always, it's so great to get your perspective and expertise.
Thanks, Christina. See you next week.
For more news, content, and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.